We're getting there now. Today I'm going to be visiting the 40th club out of the 42 SPFL grounds that before I'd moved to Scotland I'd never visited. I'd never visited any, in fact, and yeah, now today is the turn of number 40. Livingston, it is finally your turn. I've been meaning to come here for so long. Livingston's story is a weird one. Originally an Edinburgh team, they've been reformed and renamed numerous times over the years. They're now called Livingston, they play in Livingston, which is about 17 miles from where the original club was formed in Edinburgh. It's our cousins across the Atlantic that are more used to seeing their sports teams change location, change name, change town, change city. I always think it's a strange concept to move teams away from their stadium, their fans, their city, their roots. This is the story of Livingston, and yeah, before we get into it and a bit of the history, and I show you a little bit around the stadium as well as investigate the ground itself, yeah, do stick around because the ground has an amazingly funny nickname, and yeah, it's one of my favourites in all of Scotland, so stick around for that. But yeah, let's go and check out what Livingston has to offer. And the ground is just over there. You can probably just see a floodlight there. It's such a sunny day. Look at this, I can barely even see you there in the camera. But yeah, before we get into it, please do remember to like this video, subscribe if you're new. Now, I'm sure you've seen me over the course of the past few months wear this snood. Now, I'm going to include some images of different videos where I've been freezing cold and I've worn my snood, as I got given to me by Foco. It's funny that I'm at Livingston today because they've just signed up Livingston on their website, so they now stock Livingston products, the first of which is the winter accessory that everybody needs, the one that I've just shown you, the snood that has kept me so warm at matches all around the country so far this winter. If you're a Livingston fan, which I guess you might be watching this video, support the channel in going down to the first link in the description box below and purchasing a snood from their website with your club on. And even if you're not a Livingston fan, they have snoods that will keep you warm through winter from clubs and countries from all around the world, and Scotland and England as well. So yeah, do check that out, because check out their range, because yeah, even if you're not a Livingston fan, they've got tons on there. And yeah, for you Livingston fans out there, go and get yourself a snood because they are so warm and they are so worth it for winter, and they're only 15 quid as well. Bargain of the century if you ask me. So yeah, first link in the description box below. Let me know in the comments if you decide to get one. Cheers. So the stadium that we're going to be going to look at in a minute, the home of Livingston, has had a number of names and yeah, changes and stuff like that just over the years due to sponsorship and stuff basically. But yeah, the funny nickname for the stadium I'll reveal when I get there. It's linked to one of the sponsors. Where better to start things in this video than Almondvale Park? So from the stadium to this park to various buildings and sites around the town of Livingston, a lot of things are named after this very river here, the River Almond, which runs through the town of Livingston. The stadium and the club are now intertwined with the river here in Livingston, but it's not always been that way. Let me take you back. Even their older, original Edinburgh-based club that they were before they're the Livingston that they are now, are relatively new compared to, yeah, most Scottish clubs that I cover. I'm used to researching a lot of clubs that were formed in the 1800s, before the invention of the plane and the TV. However, the first iteration of this club that I'm visiting today was formed in 1943. In that year, World War II was in full swing. The Germans had just surrendered at Stalingrad, and the British and Indian forces were fighting Japanese troops in Burma, which is now Myanmar, obviously. But closer to home that year, Ferranti Thistle were formed in Edinburgh. I hope I'm saying that right. Ferranti? Anyway, yeah, Ferranti was an engineering company, and the amateur club played in some of the smaller leagues and regional leagues of Edinburgh at the time. It was a club that was set up for and run by the workers of that company. A lot like PSV in the Netherlands. They were set up by the Philips company you may have a Philips TV or microwave in your house. And yeah, that is the company and the workers of which, yeah, formed PSV, who are now obviously one of the biggest clubs in Europe. However, yeah, Livingston were originally a workers club for the people who worked at Ferranti, and they became known as Ferranti Thistle. They played their early years of football in the amateur leagues around Edinburgh before making their way into the East of Scotland Football League in 1953. They won the East of Scotland Qualifying Cup in 1963, and in 1972 they became SFA members, meaning that they were eligible to play in the Scottish Cup. And in the 70s, with Third Lanark folding a few years earlier, this team were then able to, in a bid, join the Scottish Football League system, beating a number of clubs, to the punch. Yeah, basically winning their bid to reach the Football League. However, when they joined the league system, their name and stadium didn't match the standards set by the Scottish football authorities. I don't know what's wrong with the name. Maybe you can't have a name named after a company, I'm not sure. But also their stadium that they played in didn't meet the requirements of, yeah, the leagues at the time. So they renamed themselves Meadowbank Thistle and moved to Meadowbank Stadium in, well, still in Edinburgh. Previously they played at a place called City Park. So yeah, they moved once or twice around Edinburgh in the 70s, and yeah, they were now known as Meadowbank Thistle, as opposed to the name of the former company, Thistle. So yeah, from the mid-70s to the mid-90s, they competed as Meadowbank Thistle and won a number of promotions and got relegated a couple of times as well. So they were a little bit up and down, ebbs and flows, you know how it is. They did okay in some years and not so okay in others. But yeah, for 20 odd years, they were fairly stable and were based in Edinburgh and were called Meadowbank Thistle. In the early 90s though, that club became a limited company and shortly after faced some yeah, financial difficulties, let's say. The club was facing a complete closure after a couple of relegations, which kind of left them struggling for cash. And much to the opposition of a lot of the fans, the club moved from Edinburgh, dropped their name and came here to Livingston. Now, I'm about to go and check out the 40th stadium out of the 42. I'm so nearly there, and it's just across this river, this little bridge here across the river, the River Almond. So yeah, I'll see you over there in just a sec. Here I am now by one of the sides of the stadium. Obviously this isn't the main front, that's round there. I've been meaning to come here for so long. And yeah, that park I was just in over there, Almondvale Park, named after the Almond River. And then Almondvale Stadium here, but yeah, it is called the Almondvale Stadium. However, it is also called, and I'll show you around the other side, the Toni Macaroni Arena. And why that's good with the nickname I will get into when I get round there. But yeah, it has like a sponsorship name, but is also commonly known as Almondvale, I guess, to fans. Is that right, fans? Let me know below. Yeah, somewhere I've wanted to come for so long. Premiership ground, obviously. Hang on. That looks a hell of a lot like players training in there. I think there's a hill around the other side which you can see in from. People have told me you can do that before. If someone would like to explain to me who that is, I would really appreciate it. Nice little looking stadium from the front there. And yeah, finally I'm going to put you out your misery. What is the nickname? Well, look, as you can see from the sponsor there, Toni Macaroni, that is like a famous like pasta chain restaurant food thing here in Scotland, and this stadium is then nicknamed the Spaghetti Had, much like the Etihad but with the pasta link. Yeah, I absolutely love that so much. And here we go, look, here's the badge. I believe that's to resemble a thistle. We got a lion there in the middle. And yeah, it's gone through a few iterations, this club, from, you know, its time in Edinburgh to now being a club here called Livingston, in Livingston. A little bit of a difference, but yeah, let's see if I can see in a little bit from this hill. There we go, look, there's definitely players training in there. Has anyone ever been up here for a match? I know there's one at Greenock. I had some comments telling me that fans got kicked out of the game and then had to watch from the hill outside, but you can't really see a huge amount from there. You can see a bit, but it's better than nothing if you do get kicked out and you want to keep an eye on the game. And yeah, as ever, if there is anything that I do miss out about Livingston, do let me know in the comments. I'd obviously love to come back for a game at some point. But yeah, look, you can see their players on the pitch training. Their first season as Livingston, they were crowned champions of the 3rd division, and that was in the 1995-96 season. Despite all the difficulties they had financially, moving the club and changing their name, yeah, in their first season as Livingston, they did win the division that they were in. Any fans of Livingston or the former team that you were before, Meadowbank Thistle, do you remember the change? Do you remember the move here and the change of the name? Were you opposed to it? Were you for it? Were fans at the time more for it or against it? Was there a mixture of both? Did a lot of fans who supported them as an Edinburgh club not then follow them as a Livingston club? I don't know that side of it. So yeah, if you have any information for me around that, do let me know below. I'd really appreciate it. Just 6 seasons after being relocated to Livingston, they gained promotion to the Scottish Premier League, the top tier of football here in Scotland. Their first season in the Prem in 01-02 was actually really good. They came 3rd behind the 2 Old Firm teams, Celtic and Rangers, and were essentially the best of the rest. That finish allowed them to qualify for Europe, the UEFA Cup qualifying stages. They beat FC Vaduz initially, and then ended up losing 8-6 to Sturm Graz on aggregate, the Austrian team. And in 2004, they won their first trophy, picking up the League Cup against Hibs. And yeah, from what I've just told you, it was all going so well for the brand new Livingston club. Well, kind of brand new, the reformed Livingston club, let's say. Around the mid-2000s, Livingston got into more financial trouble. Another Scottish club run poorly financially, and yeah, they were facing the expulsion from the Scottish Football League system, SPFL. A series of meetings and takeover talks culminated in Livingston being demoted all the way down to the 4th tier of Scottish football, much like what happened to Rangers. So nowadays, after more financial strife over the past 15 years, they have bounced back and are now a Scottish Premiership team again. So they've had some real ups and downs, this club. Quite amazing considering all the financial issues that they've had, that they are now back in the top tier of Scottish football. So yeah, quite amazing really that this club, well, once Edinburgh team, were completely moved all the way here to Livingston, 17 miles away. It doesn't sound a lot, and it certainly isn't as much as what, you know, happens in the States with some of the teams there who move cities all the way across the country and stuff like that. But yeah, still must have been annoying for the fans who loved the original club, I'm sure. But yeah, they're now a really good, well-established team here in Scotland who play in the Scottish Premiership and who have qualified for Europe and who have won a Scottish League Cup as well. So it's not all bad. And yeah, it's a funny story of relocation, ups, downs, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, please do remember to like this video and check out the snoods. Honestly, if you're a Livingston fan and you buy one, you are really supporting my channel. Even just go and check out the website. It'd really help me out. I'd really appreciate it. It's the first link below. But yeah, please do like this video, like I say, and yeah, subscribe if you aren't already. This stadium behind me here is the 40th SPFL club I've seen. I've also seen countless non-league teams from the Lowland League and yeah, junior football as well. I don't know how many Scottish stadiums I've seen now, but it's getting on, and I've got 2 more stadiums to go. And at some point this week, I'm going up to Inverness and Dingwall to see Ross County and Inverness Caledonian Thistle to complete my challenge of seeing all 42 SPFL clubs before the end of the year. So yeah, I will leave some videos on screen so you can carry on watching my content. But yeah, from behind me here, look, stadium number 40, the light at the end of the tunnel is starting to show. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.